SpaceX brought revolutionary satellite internet technology with its Starlink project, which is helping a lot of people in rural and city areas connect to the internet at relatively cheap rates while providing fast speeds. However, further progress on the project hangs on a balance as Starlink encountered some major problems with its connections. Before we continue, please make sure to hit the like button for this video. Subscribe and ding the bell to set your preferences to this channel so that you don't miss our tips and news about Starlink. The United States is planning to use a part of the Q-band for its 5G network installation. This could be a major problem for Starlink internet users, as it could disrupt Starlink broadband services even more than SpaceX previously estimated. As SpaceX announced the ramifications of this development a few days ago as it released interference analysis from a third party. SpaceX said the analysis validates its in-house study in June, when it warned users that Starlink would be unusable for most Americans if a 5G high-power mobile service is allowed to operate with 12 GHz band frequencies across the United States. The analysis from engineering consulting firm Savid also shows that SpaceX may have underestimated the likelihood of interference and potential harm to Starlink services. SpaceX Senior Director of Satellite Policy David Goldman wrote to the Federal Communications Commission. Starlink uses 12 GHz spectrum to connect its satellites in non-geostationary orbit to user terminals. Satellite broadcaster Dish Network want to use the same frequency to deploy its terrestrial 5G services and is seeking permission from the FCC to upgrade its license for the same. According to Dish and RS Access, another company seeking permission to use the same frequency band to run a terrestrial network, their plans can coexist with other users of the band. RS Access has reported to the FCC that its use of the 12 GHz band would not affect or have very little impact of current users of the band like Starlink. To arrive at its conclusion, RS Access commissioned studies from engineering firm RKF Engineering Solutions to show how such a network would impact fewer than 1% of terminals connecting to satellites in non-geostationary orbit, like Starlink terminals connecting to its satellites for internet connectivity. In addition to the results of their commissioned studies, Dish and RS Access say they have developed mitigation techniques which they say are readily available for affected terminals, although it is unclear how quickly they could deploy their proposed networks following FCC approval. Dish Executive Vice President for External and Legislative Affairs Jeff Blum said via email, quote, SpaceX's latest submission follows the company's familiar pattern, making exaggerated claims in service of trapping 500 MHz of 5G-ready spectrum. It is no surprise that yesterday's filing from SpaceX includes a flawed technical analysis that purports, unsuccessfully, to rebut the multiple studies submitted to the FCC from the best experts in the field that have concluded that coexistence is eminently possible. End quote. SpaceX says the interference studies Dish and RS Access draw from are inaccurate and based on incorrect assumptions about its network. In the letter to the FCC, Goldman said its latest analysis also addresses a claim from RS Access that only a third party could truly analyze how the proposed network would interfere with non-geostationary orbit satellites. Non-geostationary orbit broadband operator OneWeb also uses the band to connect user terminals. OneWeb submitted its own study to the FCC in July to show how using the spectrum for terrestrial 5G would severely disrupt NGSO broadband across the United States. DirecTV, a Dish satellite broadcaster rival majority owned by U.S. Telecom's giant AT&T, has said its TV customers also face major disruption if the FCC approves the plan. A study DirecTV filed with the FCC in July that underpinned its warning was also conducted by Savid. Starlink has called on the FCC to swiftly reject the terrestrial 5G plans. If the plans are authorized, this could have devastating effect on Starlink internet services. Interference issues result in significant costs for the satellite operator due to loss of income when the signal is interrupted. This could mean the end of Starlink as we know it. If you liked this video, hit the like button and send us your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Be sure to subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.